All right, welcome. I want you to let me know if you can hear me. If you can see my screen, if you can hear me, let me know. Please let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. All right, welcome to Excel Mastery Tutorials. Like I said, this tutorial is going to be from the scratch. Is for those who wants to begin a journey, those who wants to master Microsoft Excel, wants to take up their journey into data analysis, into effectiveness in their career path in offices to the next level. Let me state this. Excel is one software that you will definitely not to do without. In other words, you will encounter it in your journey to enhancing your career, to your career progress, career success. Is a definite yes, you must encounter Microsoft Excel, either by presenting a report that is done in Microsoft Excel in spreadsheet, or you use the spreadsheet yourself. You need to have an understanding, you need to know how to use Microsoft Excel. Is a very powerful software, is a software that each persons have to do with. In other words, no organization runs without finance. In business, you say cash is the blood of every business. In other words, cash is king. You might have heard that statement, cash is king. And how do we analyze financial data? Is one of the softwares used effectively is Microsoft Excel. And that is why Excel is one of the fundamental requirements of every job. Virtually every job, you need to master this. And most persons have challenges mastering Excel with the fear that it involves a lot of mathematics. I want you to remove that fear this night. The first thing I want to do this night is to kill the fear that if I'm to know Excel, I have to be mathematically inclined. I have to be a mathematics guru. No, you don't need to be a mathematics guru. You just need to understand the rules and regulations. You just need to understand what the rules to play by and the things to insert. Boom, off you go. Excel does the rest. So you don't need to be a mathematical guru. You don't need to be a statistician, a guru in statistics, a guru in mathematics, a guru in computer science, a guru in programming before you can use this software. So if you are here this night having this challenge that I must be a mathematician, I have to know maths very well before I master Excel, I want to kill that fear this night. I want you to delete it. I'm not saying that there are no mathematical calculations in Excel. However, you are the one to all you are required to know is to put in what to put at the right time, and Excel does the rest. Excel does the calculation. You just need to put in the cell address in the right format and use the right functions, and off you go. So you don't need to be a mathematics guru, you don't need to be a statistician before you can run analysis with Microsoft Excel. You just need to understand the basic principles. Okay, now having established this night, and next thing I want to establish is that this class is strictly for those who are starting on a journey. If you are an expert, if you are a pro, unquote, if you are an Excel pro, I will want to say that this class is not for you. Let me say it that way. Not that I will not be saying things that might interest you, but what I'm saying is that I will be starting it from the scratch, that anyone in this training, those who, like I said earlier, it will be as if you have not even had Excel before. I will be taking it from the scratch, as if you have not had Excel before, and I will be teaching it as if I'm a dummy. I'm teaching a dummy who doesn't really know his left from his right. And that is one of the things I want to do for this class. From today, being Monday till Friday, those who have phobia for Excel, those who don't really know Excel, and those who have not really passed the basics of Excel, to be able to come up to the level where they can beat their chest and say, yes, I know Excel to a great extent. I want to state this. For the next 5 years, I'm not going to make you an Excel guru. I'm not going to make you an Excel expert. But I'm going to take you from the scratch to the level where you can say you have passed. You are no longer a beginner in Microsoft Excel. You can comfortably tell someone that, no, I'm not a novice. I'm no longer a beginner in Microsoft Excel. In fact, you will be able to compete favorably with those at the intermediate level. You will be able, I guarantee you, to compete favorably. If you go with me step by step from now till Friday, you will be singing a new song. By the special grace of God is what I give as a guarantee, because this is something I have been using, I have used for a lot of times for different projects, different clients and stuff like that. If you are meeting me for the first time, if you have not met me before, my name is Franklin. I'm a data scientist. I'm a HR practitioner, a business consultant. I major in data. As regards to tech, that's why I'm a data scientist. I major in data. I use Excel so often for my work. I different analysis, research analysis. I use SPSS, Python and R, financial analysis, Tableau, Power BIs, and the likes, the database like the SQS and the likes. That is my major. And Excel has been what I've been using for a long time. I'm going to be taking us through this process so that you be able to master this called Microsoft Excel. Now, having established this, having said who this training is for, this Excel mastery tutorial is to take those who are beginners from the scratch and lift them up to the level they can say, I'm at intermediate in Microsoft Excel. I'm not promising to make you a pro. I'm not promising to make you an advanced Excel practitioner. I'm not promising to make you an expert. But one thing I guarantee is that you are moving from a point of novice beginner to compete favorably even with those that, unquote, sees themselves as experts. That is one of the things I guarantee. So, having laid this emphasis, once again, I want to welcome you to Excel Mastery Tutorials. Tonight, we will be going into the introduction of Microsoft Excel. Introduction into Microsoft Excel. When you install Microsoft Office afresh and log into your Microsoft Excel, this is the place you will come to. Here is where we refer to as the back office. We refer to this place as the back office. And then here are different templates, like if you have been following me in this 30 days Microsoft Office training, you will be noticing that I have been showing this area. For Microsoft Word, you see templates. For Microsoft PowerPoint, you see themes, different kinds of themes. But for Microsoft Excel, you see different kinds of spreadsheet. And I need to state this before I proceed. Microsoft Excel, if you are write this down, Microsoft Excel is a spreadsheet application. Microsoft Excel is a spreadsheet application. Now, what makes it a spreadsheet is simply because it has rows and columns. That's what makes it a spreadsheet. Is a spreadsheet software. So peradventure you went for an interview, a graduate intern interview, and they ask you, are you Excel proficient? You say yes. And they ask you, what type of software is Microsoft Excel? Since you are Excel proficient, Excel is a spreadsheet application. It's a spreadsheet software. So note that. Other spreadsheet softwares can be likened to SPSS, Power BIs, and the likes. Those that whatsoever a software that deals with columns and rows, we refer them as spreadsheet softwares. All right. Now, to dive into the Excel interface, we click on blank workbook. Now, there are key terms you must understand in Microsoft Excel. Like I said, I'm teaching this as if you haven't heard of Excel before. So I need to establish certain key terms when we go in. So once you get to this place, you click on blank workbook. You click on blank workbook so that I will take us right through the Excel interface. All right. Now, once you click on the blank workbook, you enter into this interface, and on this, here is the title bar, here is the title bar, here is the tab bar, TAB. You have the file tab, home tab, insert, down to help. Then we call it ribbon. Then the next is this is the name box. Now, the name box is what displays the name of the active cell. I will explain what we mean by the active cell. Active cell is that cell in Microsoft Excel that allows us to that's the active cell. And in Microsoft Excel, we have one active cell per time. We have many cells. Okay, we have one active cell per time. Now, here are different cells, but this is an active cell. Active cell is the cell that has a thick outline. You see all these ones have outline, but only this is the one that has a thick outline. So that's what we refer to active cell, and we have one active cell per time. We have one active cell per time. So whenever you click, anywhere you click, and you look at this place, it displays the name of the active cell. Another name for this name box here is what we call cell address. This place displays the cell address. So in other words, if I click here, it shows the name of this cell. I will get to tell us why that place is very, very important. Now, the next thing here is the formula bar. This is the formula bar where we input formulas or where the formulas we encode in the spreadsheet, we can see it. Then the next is this A, B, C, D down to the last is columns. A, B, C down to last is columns. While this 1, 2 down to over 1 million is referred to as rows. This is rows, this is columns. And what makes a cell? Each of these are regarded as cells, C-E-double-L. Each of these are regarded as cells, C-E-double-L. So that's what they are regarded as. Each of them are regarded as cells. So each of them are regarded as cells, not triple L but double L alone. Each are regarded as cells. So the combination, the intersection, let me use that word, the intersection of the columns and rows is what produces cell. And that is why the name of this cell is a combination of columns and rows. That's why you see this, you see that this active cell here is under column D and then row 5. So if we are to talk about the address of this cell, we say that the address of this cell is D5. So the name box displays the name of the active cell. Now, under these whole places are what we call the spreadsheet or the worksheet. All these whole places down to the last, the one we are not seeing, down the one we are not seeing, they are all referred to as the worksheet. This from here, all these whole places are referred to as worksheets. And that is why here you see is called sheet 1. Now, sheet 1 means that you can have as many sheets as possible. You can have as many sheets as possible with this plus icon here. This plus icon here can make you to insert sheet 2. You can insert sheet 3. You can insert sheet 4, as the case may be, depending on what you are working on. All right, this is the ruler bar. And the vertical ruler bar, the horizontal ruler bar. And that, in a nutshell, is the Excel interface. And why this is called sheet, worksheet, all this place, both the tabs and the bar, formula bars, name box, all are referred to as workbook. They are referred to as workbook. Workbook. Like you can see here, this is book 1. So this sheet 1, we call it worksheet. This only this place where we perform any activity in Microsoft Excel. And other things here are referred to worksheet in combination with other functions here are referred to as workbook. Now, having established this fact, what Excel is all about, what is worksheet, what are the columns, what are the rows, the name box, the formula bar, and the active cell. So having talked about that, we will begin with basic Excel tricks. We will begin with basic Excel tricks, the basic stuffs in Microsoft Excel. Let me begin by, let's say I want to type let's say we want to form a table. We can say, let's say we have this customer's name. Now, we can say the phone number, email, let's say we have this, for example. Now, when you look at this, you see that, let me zoom this a bit so that we can. Now, once I type here customer's name, you see customers, phone number, email ID, contact address. You see that this enters the column G, whereas is on column F. Name is not fully seen. So when you encounter stuff like this, once you click on it, you come to cut the formula bar, you see the name. So once you encounter stuff like this and you want to how will I put it now? You want to make the whole stuff to be seen. You don't want it to be like this. I was in an office and someone is doing stuff like this, and an office admin, what the person was doing is to come here and to reduce the size, and was trying to reduce the size so that it will enter. You see, once it gets to 8, that did not go again, and he was like struggling what to do. Is it to cut off the stuff and stuff like that? So, but this, to achieve this, there are 2 ways, or if I can say 3 ways you can achieve this. The 2 ways are very okay for me. The third one, I don't really always use it. That's the wrap test. The wrap test, one, you click on this, you come here and you click wrap test, and it breaks it down. I don't really like using the wrap test. I don't really like using it. There are other ways I do. So this is one of the ways you can bring all the tests inside one cell to be seen, either through the wrap test, or you come here. If on this customer's name, you come at the line separating the column D and C. The line separating column C and D. Once you come here, your cursor will change to something like cross with an arrow. You see it will change to something like this. If you leave, it changes to down arrow. Come here, down arrow, dark down, thick down arrow. You come here, it changes to a cross like this. But once you get here, it will be like this. So once it's like this, that means you have gotten to the line, you have gotten on the line between C and D, the line that separates C, column C, and column D. So once you have gotten that, is either you do what we call auto fit, or you do manual fitting. Manual fitting is that you click, hold, and drag. As you are dragging, you see is increasing. You can drag it to any point you want. You can decide to leave it here, and that is that. Another way, Ctrl Z, is once you don't want that dragging. I don't usually use the dragging. What I do is I will come here and double click. That's the third one you can do. Double clicking in quick succession. Once you double click, it gives it the auto fit, the fit it needs, and other. However, this also can make doing it double clicking this one, double clicking this one, and double clicking this one can waste your time. It can waste your time. Those upcoming newbie beginners and stuff like that, most of them will do one here, do this one, and also do this one. That also is okay. It works. However, to save more of your time, you can come to this place, click and drag. So once you get to F, you will now come here and then double click. You will now come here and double click. So you see, once I double click, it does for any of the cells that are not inside, that you are not seeing the letters, but they are inside that cell. Rather, you are not really seeing the letters, but they are in that cell. It will enlarge the cell so as to accommodate the letters or the data inside. That's one of the quick ways you can do that have settled that aspect. Another stuff I will be bringing to us this night is the stuff. I remember a situation where also, was it in an office or I was taking a class, either in an office or thereabout. I was taking a class. I think in an office. I was there. I saw someone preparing a monthly report. The person wrote I think is it monthly or annual report. He wrote something like this. He was writing something like this Monday. He moved to the next one Tuesday, and then here I think here he was also trying to write January and thereabout. So the person write Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then January, February, March, down. The person typed it. Of course, is the person got result. But if it's me, I would have done it within seconds. I get that done within seconds. Instead of typing it, I can type Monday and then come to this dark block here. You can see something here. This dark block here. This dark square here. This thing that's where if you come here it will be this, but if you come to that dark square, your cursor will change to a square cross like this. That is called an autofill function. It's called autofill function. There are other things that helps us to do in Excel analysis. Okay, so once I click on it and drag, you will see I will leave on Friday, it fills the rest. This is what some persons refers to as artificial intelligence in Excel. Some of the things you hear and they say Excel AI. Is artificial intelligence and stuff like that. These some of the things is some of those stuffs exactly. So that can save you time. Or if you are using the short form, and you have month here, you can come here. Excel will also recognize it that you are using the short form of Monday. So you notice this, all of them are in small letters. Now, if you put it like this as well, Excel will recognize what you are doing as well. Now you notice that the first T also the first letters are also in cap letters. So Excel understands that it makes you to work faster. It makes you to work very faster. Some persons might ask me, is it only horizontal it works? Of course, no. It can also work vertically. Let's say you use stuff like this. It can also work vertically depending on the direction you dragged it. What you just need to do is to write the first stuff, the first day, and drag to fill up the next one. You might ask, is it only that? No. If you continue, it will get to Sunday and then start all over again for Monday, depending on the kind of stuff you are working with. Another stuff is maybe you are preparing an annual report and you want to put in your January. You can use the short form if that is okay by you, if your company or what you are working on accepts that, and you click and drag, or this half-year report. Let's say we already gone the half year and you need to send the report. You need to send the report from January, February, March to June, and you are typing it. Imagine you type January, February. In a time, you might make mistake. In the course of typing. So in this, you can just type 1 January. Once you get the spelling of 1, Excel will do the rest for you. Excel does the rest for you. So these are Excel tricks and tips. You need to also know so as to enhance your productivity and the efficiency, to finish fast and to finish, not just fast, to do it very well, that reduces mistake. Okay, now another thing under some basic Excel tricks is this. Now, for example, let's say I want to move this away from here. Some persons will click on this and press Ctrl X, and we go to another place and press Ctrl V. Why that is okay for me, but I don't normally do that. What I do is I select them, and you see the thick outline that shows that all these stores here are selected. I will come to the line, any of the line, anywhere you feel like, you click anywhere. So once you get to it, click it, hold it, and move this to any position of your choice. So once you moved it, if this is okay by you, you release. You have just moved that. Then let's say I want to duplicate this. I want this to be here. I'm preparing for the month of January, the month of February, the month of March, and I don't want to be typing them one after the other and stuff like that, or copying and doing copy and paste and say Ctrl C and then Ctrl V and stuff like that. If I don't want it, I can still hold this, then hold down Ctrl. Remember, hold down Ctrl, hold Ctrl, and then hold the line and drag. Let's say I want to leave it here. Now pay serious attention on this. Remove your hand from your mouse first before removing from Control. Don't remove your hand from Control first before removing your hand from your mouse. Remove from mouse first before Control. Let the Control be the last thing you will remove your hand from. So I will remove my hand from my cursor or my mouse before removing my hand from Control, and that I have duplicated this to this. Okay, now some persons might ask, what is this used for? Here, this place between A and 1, this separation between A and 1, what is it for? This is used to select the entire sheet. This is used to select the entire worksheet. It's different from Ctrl A. Now watch, if I press Ctrl A here, it will select only within this data space. Can you see that now? It selects only within this data space. But if I don't want it, if I press Ctrl A here, it does this. I press Ctrl A again before it selects all. But if I don't want to go through that route, I can just come here immediately and just click. Once I click, it selects all. It selects the entire worksheet. That's the function of this. This is used to select the entire worksheet. Okay, now having established that, another stuff I will bring us to is sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, sheet 4. Now in this, you can rename your sheet. You can rename the worksheet. Now how do you rename a worksheet? This sheet 1, you can call it January report. For example, I'm just using report because it's what most of us will be familiar with. So here now you right click on sheet 1. Once you right click, you go to rename. Now that rename, let's call it January. I just want to use cap lock. Okay, let's call it January. And then here you can right click and go to this place and you call it February. Okay, now another thing you can do here is that you can decide to make it colorful. Like as you are seeing it here now, it's looking a bit, it's not really colorful. Let me use that word. So another thing I can do here is to make it colorful by adding color to it. So how do I do that? I will also come to general tab color. You can, once you click on tab color, you can select any of these color. Let's say I select red. Now automatically that is red color as you can see it. Here now you go to tab color. Let's say I select blue. That gives you the blue color as we can see that. So you can change the color of your sheet name. The sheet name, you can change the color with what we just did. That's on that. Now remember earlier I said that Excel has over 1 million rows. Over 1 million rows. Microsoft Excel has over 1 million rows and over 200,000 columns. Now, how do we get to see the last row in Microsoft Excel? That to get to see the last row in Microsoft Excel, you use this function control down arrow. That's the function you use. Control down arrow. Okay, that's the function you will use. Then to get to the last column, let me copy this. To get to the last column is control forward arrow. That's control forward arrow. That's to get to the last column. This is last row, while this one is last column. Okay, then Control C to get to the last cell in Microsoft Excel. Plus, okay, let me just type it. Plus forward arrow. Okay. Now this is the last cell. That's used for the last cell. That's the formula for the last cell. Okay. Let me delete this. Okay. Now this formula you see here, this one is to get to the last row. This is to get to the last column. So to get to the last cell in Microsoft Excel becomes the combination of these two. Either you say control down arrow plus then forward arrow, or control forward arrow and then down arrow. Okay, now having said that, let's see the last row in Microsoft Excel. You press control down arrow. Now this is the last row, and that is 1,048,576. In other words, this is one of the limitations, let me put it that way, one of the limitations of the Excel normal spreadsheet. Because there are other things in advanced Excel where we'll be talking about Power Pivot, where you can run more than this can accommodate. What this tells us is that a normal spreadsheet, normal Excel spreadsheet can accommodate a data of 1,400,000 1,048,576 row. Any data that is more than this cannot be loaded in Microsoft Excel, normal spreadsheet Excel. Then the last column. So to go back to A1, from what you can see here, like you can see, this is A 1,048,576. That's the name of this cell. So to go back to A1, you now control up arrow. It comes up again. That's control up arrow. That's one of the ways. If I press control down arrow, another way to do that is I can press control home. Control home, we get to A1. I will explain. Instead of moving my cursor to this place, I can quickly press control home. It takes me here. But if I'm here and I press control up arrow, it will take me here. Control bring me here. So control home is that anywhere your active cell is in the spreadsheet, once you press control home, it takes you back to A1, which is the first cell in Microsoft Excel. All right, now having established that, let's go to the last column in Microsoft Excel, which is control forward arrow. It takes us to the last column. This is the last column in Microsoft Excel, which is SFD. XFD. That's the last column. Now to get to the last cell, remember I said it's either control forward arrow and down arrow, or control down arrow and forward arrow. Either way it can go. So I can now press control down arrow. Now it takes us to the last cell. This is the last cell in Microsoft Excel. Like you can see this. I'm taking this as if you have not done Excel before. So permit me, if you have known all this, be patient with me and go with me gradually. We will still get to where you might be. So go with me gradually. I'm taking this as if this is your first Excel class. So please go alongside with me. Now this is your last cell. As you can see here, this is XFD. That's last column and last row. Now to get back to A1, I will just have to press control home. That takes me to A1. That's been established. All right. Now, having established that, let me also bring to us how you can generate, your series. Let's say you want to, one of the basic ways you can generate a series. Let's say you want to generate a series of even numbers. You can type 2 here, then move down and put 4 here. And now let's say you want to generate a series of even numbers between 2 to, let's say, 200. The even numbers between 2 to 200. That's what you want to generate. Instead of saying 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, this, you start. Just type the first 2 series, 2 and 4. Type the first 2 number. Once you do that, highlight the 2. Highlight them. What shows that you have highlighted is that this thick outline will cover the both cell. So once you highlight, you come to this place called the autofill. That's the autofill function. You come to autofill function. And once you come to autofill function, you click, hold, and then drag down. As you are dragging it down, you will be seeing it. You see we are in 290. That means we have gone past what we want to generate. Once we are there, the number will be showing 198 and then 200. I will release. That will show me that yes, we have generated a set or a series of even numbers between 2 to 200. That's what we have here. That's a way you can do that. Now, let's say you want to generate a serial number. You want to generate a serial number 1 to 100. You can type 1 and come here and type 2. Yes, some of you will say, yes, there is a function that should be used called sequence. Yes, there is a function we can use that is called a sequence function that we can use to generate 100,000 serial number, 10,000 serial numbers, as the case may be. But however, like I said, I'm starting from the basic fundamentals, the basic ones, that in a situation where using a function to generate number doesn't work for you, you can fall back to this. You can remember this. Some of us might be using Excel where you might be using Excel that doesn't have that function called sequence function. Then this can help. This can help. Okay, now like you see, it generates a number 1 to 18. That is a way you can generate your serial number. Now, before I wrap up this session, it will be very, very disservice to wrap up this session without giving you what I termed the almighty rule in Microsoft Excel. The almighty rule. Those of us in mathematics, as we are growing up in quadratic equations, you have what is called the almighty formula. Any quadratic equation it can solve. This one, we call it the almighty rule. Forget this rule, then forget Excel. Nothing can happen. Forget this rule, nothing can happen. You can just use Excel as a typing software. But for you to use Excel as an analytical software, for financial analysis, for your research analysis, for whatsoever, then you need to always remember this. If not, Excel will function as a typing or just to enter the data in the spreadsheet. So what is that rule? The rule is this. Take it now. The rule is that any function, any calculation, any analysis whatsoever must begin with an equality sign. This sign. Whatsoever calculation you want to do, whatsoever manipulation you want to do, transformation you want to do, analysis, calculation, financial transformation, whatsoever you want to do, must begin with an equality sign. If there is no equality sign, forget it. No calculation, no transformation, no manipulation. Please, I want us to get that. That is what I refer to as the almighty rule in Excel. It's irrespective of persons. It doesn't know who you are. If you fail this rule, you're on your own. Okay. Now, that is the first thing. The second rule I want to give you that also will be very helpful in your journey in Microsoft Excel is to make use of the cell name or the cell address, not the value in the cell. I want us to take a bit seconds and digest what I just said. Always use the cell name or the cell address in your calculation in Microsoft Excel, not the value in the cell. Now see what I mean. For example, if I want to calculate the sum of 10 and 5 here, for example, I want to do a data transformation. A data transformation, if I have to take or manipulation, for you to transform data, for you to manipulate data, there is what is needed, that is called an operator. An operator has to act in between the data in order to manipulate that data or to transform that data. So the operator can be a plus operator, minus operator. It can be any operator. But when you want to transform a data, in other words, I want to transform these two data into 5, from 10 and 5 into into a distinct piece here, it has an operator that acts on it. It can be a sum operator, it can be a subtraction operator, minus, it can be a division operator, it can be whatever, percentage operator. But I want it to change it. So to do that, let's say I want to do that, I said equals to, and I said 10 plus 5. Let's say I did this. Now, please get this. Once I do this, I will get answer. Why? Because I started with equality sign. It will give me the right answer. It will definitely give me the right answer. When I hit enter here, I have 15. Now, let me do the same thing here, but with a different approach. Now, if I say equals to here, and I click here, instead of typing 10, I click on it. It shows me the cell name. As you can see here, that's C6, under column 6 and on row C. So the name is C6, and I put plus. I select this. It shows me D6. I will still get the same answer, 15. But why do Excel users, why do everybody who understands Excel, uses Excel, will tell you that this is the best aspect for this stuff? Is because Excel understands the cell address, and here the figure is used, so Excel doesn't really have a formula that it memorizes. Excel uses the cell name or the cell address to memorize a formula. So what does that mean? For example, if I come here now and say, no, this is not 5, there is a mistake, it's 15. Now watch, if it's 15, this should now be 25. So if I hit enter, you notice this automatically updates. But this is remaining just why? Because Excel doesn't recognize any formula here. Excel uses this to recognize formula. Excel uses the cell name to recognize it as a formula. So with this, watch out here. If I double click on this, watch out, what happens? Here now is 15. I said double click, I was, forgive me, let me do the start from this one first. If you click and drag, that's what many beginners will do. That's what many beginners will do anyway. If we click and drag, it's the same 15. But here, if I click and drag, Excel will recognize this from what you are seeing here, equals to C6 plus D6 as a formula. And it will transfer these formulas down as I'm moving down to calculate this. So with this aspect here, I don't need to be calculating this one by one, one after the other, because of this autofill function here. But for this autofill function, this autofill to work, I have to use the cell name or the cell address, not the value in the cell. So with this now, if I click and drag down, you see what happened. This plus this, 18. This plus this, 21. So with that, we now have this understanding that Microsoft Excel works best, is best. In fact, forget that this exists. Forget this. In fact, let me delete it. This does, in fact, take it as if that it doesn't exist. Format it from your brain. Please, format what I just did now from your brain. Take it as if it doesn't exist. For now. And always remember this. Always remember to use the cell name, not the value in the cell, because it makes when we proceed by next tomorrow thereabout, we will be talking about one of the things we'll be talking about is referencing. is referencing, where we will be explaining the relative, the mixed, and the absolute. We'll be talking about that. So, but for this night, we want to lay emphasis on the basics of Excel, the basic tricks of Microsoft Excel, the basic stuff you can do in Microsoft Excel. Okay, now having established that, the next thing I will want to do, let me come to this February, is this. Before we wrap up, and then prepare for a powerful session tomorrow. Now, another thing I want to do is that, let's say you are preparing a report. You are preparing a report and the name of your company is ABC. And you type ABC Limited. For example, I like, those that know me knows that I like using this ABC. My students that know me knows that I like using this ABC. Maybe it's just because it's easy. All right, now that I put this ABC, and it's like this. Some might want it to be this way, but for me, I like making it to be like a heading. So what do? I always do something like this. If I'm preparing somehow a heading or stuff like that, I do something like this. You see, I selected how many cells now? I like 15. Yes, 3 rows and 5 columns. So if you combine them, is 15. 3 times 5, 15. So when I do that, I will come to this function. This is called Mege and Center. Mege and Center. If you didn't see it on your own, just check under alignment. It will be under the family code alignment. Then after wrap test, you will see it, Mege and Center. So I like using this. What this does is that it merges all these cells, these 15 cells, into one. So it becomes one. So I select Mege and Center. Now you see it has merged it into one, and this ABC now comes at the center. Then I can make it bold. I can change the color. This is to change the font color. This is to change the background color of the selected cell. So if I click on this, and for example, let me use white here, and then decide to increase the size. Now let's say 28. I can make it here middle align. So once I select middle, it comes to the middle of the cell. So all this now becomes one. Like you can see, it's now C2 because it takes the name of the first cell, the fourth cell that started the merge. So it's now called C2. However, in analysis, when we come to cleaning data, we remove this. That's in Power Query in advanced Excel. When we come to cleaning data, this will go. We don't need this. But if it's something that you are preparing finally to present to the board, you can make something like this. So we call it Mege and Center. We call it Mege and Center. Okay, now this is for your left alignment. Normal in Microsoft Word is also in Excel. Your left alignment, your right alignment, your up. This is middle, this is down. That's what they are. So I like using this and this. I like using that. Then this is your indenting. Normal indenting in Microsoft Word to increase and decrease and stuff like that. Now, before I wrap up this night, let me give us one trick. Let me give us one trick before I wrap up this night. One sharp trick. before I wrap up. Now let me see if I have any file I can use. Let me quickly I'm not sure, do I have? It's like it's in my order. Okay, let me close this. Let's go back. Now, let's say I have this and we have, for example, let me put here Monday. Let me quickly get something up here. Monday to Friday. And then here we have a serial number and we have 1, 2, and let me get something to 10 here, and then let's say I merge this, come here for example, and select this, say OK. Now let's say I have this and then I want to copy this work. Follow me please. I'm a bit rushing it due to our time. I don't like taking much time. Okay, let's say I have this work, for example, and then I copied it. Control C. Now let me open my Microsoft Word. The way you paste. Most of us, when you get your work in Microsoft Excel, you come to Microsoft Word and you just paste. Let me show us how you paste rightly. You now see if I press Ctrl V here, you see I pasted this, Ctrl V. However, let me click down. Now you are seeing my cursor here. Let me expand it so that we can see the effect very well. Okay, now you can see this at the same time, but instead of me saying Ctrl V, I will now come to paste. As you can see here, the pasting, how you can paste your work from Microsoft Excel into Microsoft Word effectively, so that you can, once you make changes, it will be easy for you. Now what you need to do, instead of pasting directly, you come under this. You see there are two sections. If you click this, you are pasting directly. It's like Ctrl V. As you can see in the description, there is Ctrl V. But here you are taking other options. So once you click on it, other options comes up. You select what we call paste special. You select the option called paste special. This is the advantage you have for staying with me up to this time. You select this called paste special. Now under this, instead of you just pasting, you select paste link. Now you are making a link between your work in Microsoft Excel to the one you are pasting in Microsoft Word. So you come here and you select Microsoft Excel worksheet object. You select that and then you say OK. Now you see what we have here. Do you notice something? Do you notice that this comes with it comes with the total format? You see the outline here. There is no outline here. You see this drop down arrow of table is here, but it's not here. Now that's not just the main thing. That's not just the main thing. Let's go back to Microsoft Excel. And in Microsoft Excel, let me come here and enter maybe let me just generate data. Let me just generate data. All right. I will tell us how that is done due to time. Now, once provided I did this and I press Ctrl X and let me save it to the desktop. I haven't saved it before. So let's use Excel Master 1 to save it, and that is done. I see. So let's go to Microsoft Word. Now, in Microsoft Word, did you see now what happened? Automatically it updates, whereas this has any update. Why? Because we paste this as link using paste special. So why is this very important? Is because if you did a research, if you are a researcher and you are writing your result and you are bringing your result from Excel into Microsoft Word, or your report, financial report, you are typing it into Microsoft Word, instead of you just copying it and paste, link it. Why? If tomorrow there is a mistake, you discovered an error in your calculation, a mistake in your work, what you just have to do is to change it in Microsoft Excel and save. When you open it in Microsoft Word, you update and everything settles. That makes your work to be very easy, stress-free. So that's why I strongly recommend that we use this called Paste Special. Is a tip that I want to give us this night to wrap up this section this night. Always use the Paste Special option when copying your work from Microsoft Excel into Microsoft Word. I strongly recommend that for us, and it's on that note that I will be wrapping up this nice section, and I want to appreciate each and every one of us that stayed up with me till now. I want to say thank you. Tomorrow we are going to be going deeper, moving further into Microsoft Word, and one of the things we are going to do tomorrow is how to prepare a payroll template. One of the things we are going to do tomorrow, is how to prepare a payroll template. As an Excel practitioner, as a HR, as an accountant, as an admin personnel, and you are asked to prepare a payroll template for the monthly salary and stuff like that, organization and stuff like that. How do you prepare a payroll template that anyone can use within the organization? That is one of the things we will be doing tomorrow, among learning basic functions and other functionalities in Microsoft Excel. We are going to be doing that tomorrow. So tomorrow, come by 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock West African time, we will also start on that journey. And I want to implore you, if you haven't subscribed, please do well to subscribe so as to get notification. And at the same time, it serves as an encouragement that shows, yes, we are reaching out to people, we are impacting lives. If you know me, you know that one of my targets is to impact lives. That is that is why we are running, the main reason we are running this free lecture series of Microsoft Office software. I want to appreciate you. Thank you for being with me. If you know anyone struggling with Microsoft Excel, anyone that haven't learned this important software, let the person be available tomorrow, and feel free to share the link to as many as possible who haven't been able to join. Unfortunately, YouTube can only accept 25 non-subscribers. So that's why we encourage you to subscribe, and then always endeavor to share. Feel free to like and comment. Thank you. See you tomorrow, same time, 8 p.m. Set your alarm. Don't be left out. We are going to be entering fully into Microsoft Excel more than what we did this night. Thank you, and do have a